Eric Bischoff is back. After his appearance on what turned out to be NXT's lowest rated episode of the year, Bischoff took his talents to MLW. MLW's One Shot was chaotic, nostalgic, and honestly a little confusing. One thing's for sure, Bischoff made this show all about him. Was it chaotic genius or just a mess? Let's break it all down. The show kicked off with Eric Bischoff strolling into the Melrose Ballroom to his AI theme song, and massive cheers. The fans were ready for some Eric Bischoff nostalgia. He started leaning hard into crowd work, asking fans if they remembered the NWO, who their favorite member was, even shouting "too sweet." Bischoff was soaking in the moment, or maybe just stalling for time. At one point, you could literally see him asking a production guy for a cue. Then he magically remembers to introduce a video package for his newest creation, the Gravity Gamble match. This is just TNA's Feast or Fired. Wrestlers compete for briefcases containing rewards or punishments. It's not exactly original, but hey, it's Eric Bischoff. Before Bischoff could bask in his brilliance, Mads Cruel Kruger interrupted, demanding Bischoff leave MLW for good. This led to our first big moment of the night, the debut of Baba Thunder, the former Dabba-Kato in WWE. Oh yeah, and before this, Matt Riddle and Tom Lawler came out and said Eric Bischoff has a little dong. But now we have our opener, we have Cruel and Baba Thunder, which is an excellent name. Speaking of Baba Thunder, he is huge. Cruel looks small next to him, and Cruel is a big guy. Honestly, they had a fun, hard-hitting match, and Cruel won by choking out the big man, but we weren't done here. Contra Unit would surround Baba Thunder and give him a choice. You can either join us or leave in a body bag. That better be a big body bag, but we don't get to find out because Baba Thunder salutes Contra. Just like that, Contra got much bigger. Next up, we had Ava Everett and Delmi Exo. I wasn't too familiar with either of these girls, but honestly, they killed it. They were given under 5 minutes and made the absolute most of their time. Delmi was managed by Cesar Duran from Lucha Underground and introduced by Ricardo Rodriguez. What a combo. After the match, Duran grabbed the mic and said, "I know how to make money, unlike some executive producers who bankrupt every company they touch." Well, Lucha Underground's not doing so hot right now, but the shade at Bischoff was undeniable. Delmi then challenged Janai Kai to a hair versus title match, which honestly sounds like a pretty enticing bout. In the meantime, Eric Bischoff has been all over the place. We went to the commentary team, but if you look closely, you can see Bischoff desperately trying to squeeze into frame. He claims he's a changed man before spoiling TNA's main event of their episode of Impact that night. Honestly, pretty funny. After Delmi Exo's match, we saw Duran confront Bischoff, asking him if he wanted to see some HLA tonight. Hot lucha action. Okay, that one was really good. But what is Eric Bischoff doing here? Well, we'll find out eventually. First, we have to see Bobby Fish and Alex Kane in a UWFI rules match. Where do I even begin? The commentary team tried their best to explain the rules to this match. Historically, wrestlers start with 15 points. Points are lost for knockdowns, holds, or rope breaks. Points can also be gained through suplexes. The only way to win is by submission, knockout, or reducing your opponent's points to 0. Not the most confusing match ever, but not the simplest either. And things got worse when no one, including the commentators, seemed to know how this match worked at all. We had no reference to how many points were being scored or deducted at any given moment. At one point, it was said that there were no rope breaks, only for someone to immediately grab the ropes and break a hold. What was this mess? Despite the chaos, Alex Kane kinda dominated and won via knockout, I guess, after hitting a standing powerbomb and a brainbuster. After the match, Eric Bischoff appeared on screen from the production truck. He decided to fire Alex Kane. Why? Why not? Moving on to Místico and Trevor Lee. Before the match, Bischoff added a stipulation that if Místico lost, he would lose his mask. This was a little unnecessary, don't you think? Does anyone in the world believe that Místico is going to lose his mask on an MLW show streamed to 10,000 people? That said, the match was really good. The crowd got really into it towards the end, but the mask stipulation was just pointless and took away any suspense of Trevor Lee possibly beating Místico. We went on to another solid match, Matt Riddle and Donovan Dijak. They're great athletes, but there's really not much to say about this one. It went about 10 minutes before Mr. Saint Laurent pulled the ref out of the ring, leading to a lame DQ finish. Filthy Tom Lawler made the save, but the ending just left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. We went to a backstage segment with Akira, Kojima, and Okamura, but MLW either forgot to turn on their mics or forgot to bring them in the first place, because this and most of the other backstage segments were almost impossible to hear. I was losing patience with this show, but next up was Eazy-E's Roulette. C.W. Anderson and Brock Anderson would be taking on Matthew Justice and Paul Walter Hauser. This roulette wheel was the fakest I've seen in pro wrestling history. It settled on the stipulation New York City street fight, and this was exactly what you would expect, a pretty standard plunder brawl. Not much to say here, honestly. Maybe there's some people that enjoyed this, I'm not really one of them. Then it was time for the main event of the evening, Contra Units Ikaro Kwan and Minoru Suzuki against Okamura and Satoshi Kojima for the MLW Tag Team titles. It was an interesting choice, but maybe they went hard. Well, they didn't. It was nothing. 8.5 minutes, Minoru Suzuki and Okamura regained their tag titles, but I can't remember anything from this match, and I just watched it. Okamura pinned Kwan, they regained their belts, and the fans threw bread into the ring. But the show's not over yet. We went outside to Eric Bischoff, who was reading some MLW papers and was on the phone. He may have some new talent or some big plan. He says he'll guard it with his life. What's Eric Bischoff up to? Well, MLW One Shot was a celebration of Eric Bischoff's legacy, and not always in the best way. Honestly, if you love Bischoff's over-the-top style, this was pretty decent for that. There was definitely some nostalgia and chaos. Convoluted rules, pointless match stipulations, production missteps. It was truly like I was watching 2010 TNA. With that said, matches like Riddle and Dijak and Místico and Trevor Lee had some really good action. I just never really felt anything all night. And that's a broader issue with MLW as a whole. Hey, Baba Thunder was pretty cool though. What did you guys think? Was this a success, a chaotic mess? Do you want to see more? Let me know your favorite moment from MLW One Shot and drop your thoughts on Eric Bischoff's performance down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wrestling reviews and deep dives. Thanks for watching.